1 seed in the American Football Conference. That belongs to the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, who are going to be resting some key starters today, giving them half a month off, essentially, which is a rarity in the NFL. So let's take things to Ian Rappaport right now and walk us through what's going on right there and others.
Well, for Rich, the most important thing for the Kansas City Chiefs is you're not going to see Patrick Mahomes. No risk for Kansas City, as you mentioned, with everything locked up. So instead of Mahomes, it's going to be Chad Henne, the backup, making his first start since 2014. He got all the reps in practice. They believe he is ready. And, of course, this is going to be a glorified preseason game because they're going to be without several other key guys, including Tyreek Hill. He's got a little bit of a hamstring thing, not considered major, but they're not going to put him at risk. Either Le'Veon Bell is kind of dinged up. He might play a little, but Darwin Thompson going to get most of the carries for Kansas City.
All right, well, resting a quarterback in Week 17 with a playoff spot in hand. Nothing new for Andy Reid. In 2013 and 2017, he rested Alex Smith in Week 17, and both times the Chiefs ended up losing the wild card round game the following week. The silver lining was the 2017 Week 17 game featured the debut of Patrick Mahomes getting his feet wet in the American Football Conference Western Division right there in Denver. So you got things ready for him. And then you take a look at this fact right here. Teams with first-round bye to rest a quarterback in Week 17 of the last 10 postseasons. The only quarterback who won in the divisional round was Drew Brees against the Philadelphia Eagles in 2018. Lamar Jackson, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, all quarterbacks rested and then lost coming off of the bye week. So that's how we go to the Lowe's home studio and have the rest versus rust conversation. Rich, take it away.
Okay, Rich, thanks. So this is the time of year where coaches make this decision, right, Kurt? You know, do I rest not just my starting quarterback, but other players on the team that I want to protect? Rest versus rust. Your thoughts?
Man, I mean, pretty crazy when you look at that. Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, and Lamar Jackson all losing. I do worry about this a little bit. And I know Patrick Mahomes is special, and they've got all kinds of playmakers. And he's shown us all year, and he showed us last year in the playoffs, oh, they can start a little bit slow, or they can have a little bit of rust, and they can come back in those situations. But I always worry about my team not hitting on all cylinders when it's playoff time, especially the first playoff game, coming out and feeling good about yourself. So concerned a little bit. I still like where their team is and the teams they're going to play, but I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it's always risk versus reward when you're dealing with these things. But one, like I always tell people, one of the things Jimmy always did was made sure, just like what we're seeing in Buffalo, he didn't say anything. So everybody, we can lose the game and not playing the game, I mean, but he didn't want to lose the week work, being sharp. And that and with the Chiefs, this is what I thought about too. Guys, think about this. They were playing last season. They won the Super Bowl. Then they jumped right into an off season of COVID. I mean, where have they had a mental break? Right. You know, they jump right back into this kind of a season dealing with COVID. You've seen Andy Reid coming up with all these crazy plays he's designing, all this crazy stuff he's doing. I think this is just trying to give them a mental break during the season, having fun, keeping things light. I think this break will be great for them from that sense.
I think you make a great point, too, Coach. I don't know how you did it, but we prepared, and we would start this Week 17 game in some of the years that we had the bye, where it was kind of like, let's start, we'll play just a little bit, but you go through your entire routine, you get into the game and you're focused, and then we take you out and we give you that rest.
Yeah. That's how I would prefer it, too, because the only thing that guarantees that you will be healthy when you play a playoff game is if you don't play the game before. That's the only thing. And I don't much believe in the rust thing unless a guy has been hurt and he can't throw, or he's got broken ribs or whatever, and you come back because you're a little under-practiced. But like we're talking about, if you practice, and Patrick Mahomes will practice, and Ben will practice, you know, the rust, I think being fresh and healthy is way more important than taking a chance on being a little rusty in the beginning. So
especially that group
knows what he's doing over here. All right, Rich, take it back.
All right, thanks very much. Patrick Mahomes, an expectant father, already getting the dad jokes ready. He tweeted out a photograph, a high school photograph of Chad Henne with the hashtag of anything is possible.
to figure out that this is a much bigger increase between weeks 12 and 16 than between weeks 8 and 11, because 0 is not a great number when it comes to a passer rating. But I want to point out, these deep passes, 20-plus air yards, that's an area we were concerned. Is Tom Brady going to be able to do this? Well, the answer has been overwhelmingly yes. So, Kurt Warner, with the rain, with the elements, with everything we see, what do we expect going forward?
Well, I tell you what, I expect it to continue, and I'm going to see your next-gen stat, and I'm going to raise you a next-gen stat that over these past 4 weeks, his wide receivers are getting 2.4 yards of separation on these deep throws. I mean, that would be #1 in the National Football League if it were to end today. So receivers are doing a great job. The offensive play calls have done a great job of opening up his wide receivers. And as he said, that guy getting comfortable at playoff time, that's a bad scenario for everyone else.
Absolutely. Rich?
Thanks. Teams played each other in Week 5 is when Dak Prescott went out for the season, and these are Andy Dalton's last 3 games. The Red Rifle catching fire at the right time. Take it away, Steve.
All right. Yeah, he is catching fire right now at the right time, huh, Irv?
Right
Let's
at the
talk
right
about
time.
it. Will his success today continue against the Giants?
Coach, I believe what he's doing, absolutely it will. Now, the way he's dispensing and dispersing that football amongst those wide receivers, it has really been a thing of beauty. And we knew CeeDee Lamb has been doing his thing, and Amari Cooper, who has more receptions than he's had in a season. But this dude right here, Michael Gallup, this is what Andy Dalton and Mike Gallup is taking this thing to another level. And really, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper has been adding on to it. These guys, now, if they can average about 300 yards and at least 3 touchdowns the rest of these days, the rest of these games, yeah, he's doing his job.
And we thought before the season started that these 3 receivers, what a receiving core they have over there in Dallas, right? Would all get 1,000 yards. And you know, Andy Dalton, you think about it, when you practice every day and play all the games, pretty soon you start getting pretty good.
Get pretty good.
They're pretty good right now.
Get pretty good at, Coach.
And that quick passing game has been really good.
That's the key, Coach. He's getting the ball out of his hands. So remember all the questions we had about that offensive line, right? But Andy Dalton's getting the ball out of his hands so quickly. Getting rid of the ball, getting it in these guys' hands, and boy, I mean, they're making plays. They're making plays.
Wait, was that the 88 guy?
That's one of the best catches I've seen right here. But I'm going to tell you something. Watch this kid now. Watch Michael Gallup. We don't give him enough credit because we talk CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. But Michael Gallup has really been playing great.
You spoke to CeeDee Lamb this week?
Yes, I did. Speaking of number 88, we should be talking about him. He is a bad man. His little appetizer, because I spoke with him this week.
For this game, they have to stay tuned and watch Sunday Night Football and root for the Eagles to beat the Washington football team, which has a win and in NFC East playoff scenario today. 7 teams enter Week 17 with a win and in playoff scenario, including the Cardinals and Rams, who play each other later in the afternoon. I am Rich Eisen. Go your way today, later on today. And again, the Washington football team, all they got to do is win tonight in Philadelphia, and they win the East. Mitch Trubisky, with a 3-game win streak, has the Bears in a win and in playoff scenario. All they got to do is beat Green Bay, and the winner of the Rams and Cardinals gets in. And then in the AFC, every single 10-win team has a win and in scenario except for the Colts.
That sounds so good.
The Colts need to beat the Jaguars and have one of these teams on the screen lose, and they make the playoffs. That's essentially the deal entering Week 17. So many chess pieces will be up in the air when toe meets ball at 1 Eastern time. Steve Mariucci, as always, you lead us off with a Sunday storyline.
Can my storyline be in the form of a question?
It may.
Whatever I want. It's Week 17, all right? Will Baker make